Hi, I'm Clara, and I turn my feelings into art. Not the feelings you might think about, like joy, sadness, or fear, but something more complex. For quite some time in the past, I've had a feeling that was hard to explain. When I'm in a room with people who talk to each other, or to me, I want to try to speak, but I can't, as if my throat is blocked, and a weird nausea feeling is present, or something similar to the state where you're about to cry and your throat burns. It was harder when I wanted to talk about something personal. That feeling appeared and I couldn't talk. I remember a friendly family gathering. There, that feeling became even worse, because people were talking in different groups simultaneously, and their words just swirled in the noise, and I felt like I was about to gag. Right now, that feeling doesn't haunt me. Well, 99% of the time. But I still had an idea of its interpretation into art. I had an image in my head of a girl, looking with wide eyes, while her throat is blocked by a flower or some kind of berry. And the most important and interesting part for me, her ribcage is visible and there are berries or flowers growing inside, reaching toward the throat. I've made a couple of sketches and boy oh boy I wanted to transfer it to digital art, but I had to decide to make it perfect and my perfectionist inside didn't let me start when I had free time, so several weeks passed by and I even started a different drawing which I had to finish before starting a new one, and on top of that I was busy with university and work, so it took me almost 6 months to finish it. I also managed to finish that sketchbook and start a new one. I'm also writing a script in months, almost 2 after finishing that drawing. I hope I will be done with editing in October. Psych! It's 2026 and it's 30th of January and I just started the recording of a script. I also finished the script this January, which is kinda embarrassing. So, back to the drawing itself. Before starting sketching digitally, I did some research on the topic of poisonous berries to find something fitting, something with an effect that will irritate your throat and make it almost impossible to speak. And I have found the Daphne mezereum. Mezereum, right? Wait. Daphne mezereum, commonly known as mezereum. It is a deciduous shrub growing to 1.5 meters tall. The fruit is a bright red berry. It is very poisonous for human. Daphne mezereum is very toxic. If poisoned, victims experience a choking sensation. Ingestion of a plant part leads within a few hours to severe irritation and burning sensation in the mouth, with swelling of the lips and face, increased salivation, hoarseness, and difficulty in swallowing. These symptoms are soon followed by severe abdominal pain, headache, numbness, nausea, and bloody diarrhea. I liked the description and I went for it. The red color was perfect for my art. I visualized it being in dark blue tones and I wanted the berries to be a contrasting color. So I drew mezereum's berries inside the ribcage and its flower growing out of the mouth. I've never imagined that drawing ribs would be that fun. I loved it. The process was pleasant, even though sometimes I lost the count of the ribs and needed to mark them, but I was having a blast, sketching them, cleaning my sketch to turn it into the line and coloring them and shading. Genuinely one of my favorite processes and parts of this art. And the result is great. I'm genuinely proud of myself for those ribs. Face, however, was probably the most irritating. I just didn't like how the angle turned out, but it's alright. I also made some color variation after finishing it. This is probably one of my favorite pieces I've made in 2025. Next one is more simple and quick. The idea came up suddenly in autumn day after walking from work while listening to the song in this short. The music and vocals and overall tone of the song described how I felt pretty good. The vision of the art in my head popped up, but I was able to draw it only 2 months later. Making it traditionally was a good choice. I wanted to add more hands, but I didn't have any desire to draw them. So later, when I got free time, I redrew it on my laptop. I've been working as an English teacher since September 2025, and it's been really hard. Not only because I was combining it with my university studies, but also because I hated this job. It felt like I was losing myself more and more, as if everyone was trying to change me into something they liked, taking away my passions. Not gonna lie, but I feel like I prefer the traditional version more of my art. The lines are more alive and free, and the marker textures make the background more complex. On to the last, but certainly not the least drawing. The sketch was the second drawing in my new sketchbook. I made it in the start of autumn when I started working at school. The interesting thing is, it didn't even start as a piece to flesh out my emotions. I wanted to draw something. Then, the thought about a woman putting on a crown herself came up. Then I liked the position of a head, but I didn't really want to spend time on finding reference for position of the hands and shoulders and decided she's not gonna put a crown on herself, someone else will do that. And while drawing, giving her expression, making the crown and symbolism came through me, and thus the meaning of art. People suggesting you the path you should walk, making you do what you don't want to do. That hurts you, but they think otherwise. They give you a golden opportunity, a perfect life, a one they like so much and would be so happy to see you live. Putting on you gorgeous crown, for it only to pierce through your head, only to bring you agony. I don't want to explain every thought process and symbolism, so you're gonna have to figure some things out on your own. Personally, I think that everyone can feel the painting differently. Maybe similar to the author, maybe opposite, but what matters is the connection. If you can feel heard and somewhat understood, then the artist's job is done greatly. Overall, I enjoy doing this art so much. I love that I made her eyes bigger compared to the sketchbook version. I truly like how the gloves rendering turned out. They look just how I imagined. And the background. I like what I did. It was a bit tough, but I look forward to practicing doing folds again. I also had a really good reference from a real-life painting. Rendering, making lights and shadow, experimenting with color, using some different techniques was one of my favorite things I've done in this art. It's a really good start of my art journey in 2026, and I look forward to every idea I want to bring to life. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have an amazing day or night, and bye!